Hello and welcome back, XDC community, Mr. Blockchain 22 here. So as promised from the first video, the second video that I'm making is to, if you launched a node and you want to expedite the syncing of your node to the network, which can normally take, if you follow the first instructions, then the syncing of the node can take 3 to 4 days as the node is syncing, downloading all the chain, all the data that's on chain from day one to now, right? So this process is basically you're downloading a snapshot of the chain from day one up until sometime last year, I believe. And what that's gonna do is it takes all that data and saves it on your node, and then your node, when it comes online, realizes that the data is there and it starts syncing from that point forward, expediting, of course, the process of syncing the node from days to essentially a few hours. So the node that we launched is called XDC Community Test Node, and it's on the mainnet, and it's been live for just a few moments. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna follow these instructions here, right? These instructions, what's gonna do is going to bring down the node, and it's gonna remove whatever is already saved from the XDC chain, which is a compressed file, and then it's going to reach out to this website and it's gonna download the XDC chain, which is the snapshot, and it's gonna move it to different directories, and it's gonna remove the XDC/XDC/node key, and it's gonna upgrade the node, right? So what we're gonna do, we're going to follow these steps. So if you just logged into your node, make sure that you are in the Synfin node directory, basically in the mainnet directory for this to happen. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this command line copy here, and we're going to let's go back one. All right, so a little hiccup there. I tried to run it on mainnet and it wouldn't take it. So I went to the GitHub repository and copy this to stop the node if you're encountering any issues. We're not really encountering any issues. We're just trying to expedite the syncing of the node. So copy this from here, sudo docker compose yml down. So we're bringing the node down, and I'm gonna have to replace this command here with this one. And now that the node is down, and if you can see, um, when I was mentioning earlier in the previous video, the XDC community node, see how it's syncing, and now it has 9 other nodes that it was syncing to. And this is the name of the node that we launched. So now that we brought it down, this is gonna turn red. All this is gonna come back down to 0. But what we're doing is we're trying to expedite the syncing of the node. And if you guys can see here, it had already downloaded that many blocks from the chain, right? In just probably a few minutes. I'll say maybe like 10 minutes. Now that we have stopped the node, and it's eventually going to reflect that on the Synfin network stats page, we're going to remove that information, that chain data that was there. So we're going to remove, right, that, And the next step, and this is gonna take a while because it's a download, right? And it's a lot of data, so it's probably a few hundred gigs of data. So we're trying to access that page, and we're going to let it run, right? Hopefully connection is fast and we don't have to worry about sitting here for a while. Depending on how much time it's gonna take, I'm gonna have to pause the video and resume as the data it's downloaded. So you can see it's gonna take about 29 minutes. So I'm not gonna sit here and let you wait 29 minutes. So I'm just going to pause the video, resume when the download is complete, and move on with the following steps that are here. So I'll be back. Just a quick update as we're moving along. We are 42% downloading the compressed file that has the XDC chain. The time still says 28 minutes, even though it had jumped to about 32 minutes and then went back down to that. So I'm gonna post the video again and update you once I get to 100%. All right, so the XDC chain compressed file, it's already downloaded. It took about 35 to 40 minutes to download. So we've been following these directions here, these steps. So right now we follow this. So we connected to this website, downloaded the chain, and now we're going to unpack that by following the following command line. Copy there, press enter. This is gonna take a little bit of time, so it's basically unpacking every block on the chain. It's gonna be a minute, so I'll pause the video again and restart once this is done. All right, so the unpacking of the XDC chain is complete. That took probably about another 30 to 45 minutes or so. Um, so the next step that we need to follow is to move the XDC chain slash XDC and move it as a backup, right? So I'm gonna paste that there. And we're gonna move the XDC to XDC that chain or XDC chain. And the following step, as we're getting closer to finalizing this, is we're going to remove the all file node key, right? So we're gonna remove the XDC chain XDC node key from there. And once we do that, I'm going to run the last command, bash upgrade. And completes the node. So I'm trying to bring up this here, as you can see. The node currently shows as, trying to make this smaller so it fits in the screen. But if you can see the test, the XDC community test node, it still shows online. It's gonna be a little bit of time before it comes back online and it reflects. It's moving around. I should have marked it when I had it down there. Okay, so now I can keep it at the top. So as you can see, the snapshot takes you to block 50,850,500. 50,850,500 or 900. So now you can see that is back online, and it has two nodes that is connected to, and is currently syncing to the network. And eventually this number is going to match the remaining nodes with the current block. And we're just going to let it run and see the numbers keep changing as it's syncing to the node. But instead of starting at 0 block and letting the node sync up over the next 3 to 4 days, now we are very close to the current block of 50,898,113. And as it's moving along, you're gonna notice that it only is gonna take probably about a few hours. I would say 3 or 4 hours at the most. If it takes a little longer, um, it shouldn't be an issue, but it's not gonna take 4 hours. And that is how you download the snapshot and resync the node to the network at a higher block, reducing the amount of time that it's gonna take you to sync up the node, reducing, of course, the amount of time that you can start interacting with your node and querying the data, especially if you have a project that you're running and you want to utilize that node for querying data as you're developing and creating your project. I hope this helps you guys syncing up your node faster. I know it has made a huge difference when stood up a few nodes, and instead of waiting 4 days, I only waited a few hours and kept moving with what I was doing. And as you can see, the nodes, it's increasing slowly as it's syncing to the network, and it's eventually gonna have a higher number of nodes that is connected to in the network. So I hope I see you on the next video, and have a good one.